Well, in our very first story, President Akufo-Addo is currently at the residence of the late Captain Mahama, who was lynched at Dentro Boise last week. The president's visit is to commiserate with the family of the fallen soldier whose death has caused nationwide outrage. Let's go live to Birmingham to see what is happening there now. And I have on the line Elting Brobe. Hello, Elting. Hello, Elting. Hello, Elting. So can you bring us up to date, up to speed, what's happening there? It appears we're having difficulties reaching Elting, but let's just listen in because we have the feed live from the residence.
The wishes of the family to do the burial on Friday. Mr. President, that is the current situation. And to the family, I wish to say that the President has already, as you all know, dispatched high-powered delegations. The Vice President has already been here. The First and the Second Ladies have been here. The Speaker of Parliament and the entire leadership of Parliament have been here. The Ministers of State, from the Defense Minister, the Minister for Interior, Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Minister for Transport, and a lot more have been here. So the President is this evening also visiting to mourn with you and express his sympathies. That is the purpose for this visit. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, and you are most welcome. I think that you left out yourself. You have been here, and you have always been with us. Do we speak or we do the introduction?
Do the introduction.
Okay. I will now take the opportunity to introduce members of the family to Your Excellency. Let me appeal to the members of the family. It's a large one, so we will not be able to introduce each and every one. We would concentrate on the key persons. If we don't introduce you, it doesn't mean you are not important in the family. I think from the sitting arrangement, it will be better for me to start from my right where the ladies are. Before I go into the details, let me say that the family traces its roots to the first expatriate IGP of this country in the name of Lieutenant Colonel William Harry Murray Bamford. You would notice that on Maxwell's mother's side, Bamford would run through the names. I would start, if you permit me, go closer so that you can see the people I'm introducing. As I said, I have on my list the wife of late Captain Maxwell Adams, Barbara, who is here. The next person is Auntie Vero, who is the mother of Captain Maxwell Addo, and Captain Maxwell Adam. And Auntie Vero is a niece to the former Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Justice Joyce Bamford Addo. While we were here, we got a message from her that we should make it known to Your Excellency that she's not in Ghana. If she were, she would stand behind Maxwell's murder. However, we should let you know that since you are concerned, she leaves everything in your hands because she's convinced that the concern you have shown so far shows that she need not worry. The next person to Antivero is Mrs. Cynthia Abiu Jackson, who is a niece of Colonel William Harry Maury Bamford.
You're hearing the members of the family of the late Captain Maxwell Mahama being introduced to the president. We expect the president to make some comments there, and we'll be coming back immediately. The president's about to make those comments. But it's been a week since Captain Maxwell Mahama was brutally murdered by residents of Daintra Boase. But the pain is still very fresh on the minds of many Ghanaians, but more importantly on their family, which has had to deal with the loss. Some former state officials Monday visited the family as they marked the 1 week of his passing. Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Tete was among many who asked for the strengthening of the country's institutions to deal with such cases. Beatrice Edu has the rest of the story.
It's been a difficult moment, not just for the family of the late Captain Mahama, but the entire nation as people mourn the brutal murder of this military officer. It's exactly 1 week since this incident happened at Daintra Boase, and as you can see in the background, a number of the family members are here. It's such a difficult moment, not just for the family, but also for those who have visited. Some minutes ago, former senior ministers of state were part of those who visited their family to try to console them through this difficult moment of their lives. The former Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Tete believes that it is time for the country to strengthen the justice institutions so that people do not take the laws into their own hands.
What we need to do is to allow the institutions responsible for the investigation to work, even if the evidence that is available is not enough to sustain a charge of murder. There are several other criminal offenses which all of those who participated in that act can be charged with, so that they recognize that there are consequences for misconduct, and those consequences are allowed to be felt by those who did this act. At the end of the day, whatever the motivation, our laws say that you cannot take the life of another person. And for that reason, we would like to see that justice is done.
Former Fisheries Minister Sherry Ayite also agrees.
What has been going through my mind is, the institutions that we have that should deliver justice. And I think that it's time that they become our priority, that we strengthen these institutions. We should resource them. We should offer training for the police to carry out very good investigation, and also they need logistics. And I think that justice, how slow it is, must be delivered. And when we are assured, when the public feels that if you take your case to the court, you will have justice, I'm sure that this kind of behavior will actually vanish from our society.
So for you, per your statement, do you agree with those who think that people are probably behaving this way because they don't trust in the system? The systems have failed over the years.
I think the system has not failed. But I think that we need to empower the institutions.
Right now, right behind me is the former Deputy Tourism Minister, Jifa Gomashi. She is signing the book of condolence. Earlier, the former Foreign Affairs Minister, Hannah Tete, also signed on behalf of the senior ministers who came here earlier to commiserate with the family. Let's now speak to former Deputy Tourism Minister, Jifa Gomashi. Today is 1 week since this unfortunate incident happened, the brutal murder of late Captain Mahama. What went through your mind as you heard this news?
As a mother, I asked myself, how would I feel if I got this message that I'd lost a child? By the order of things, I think that You bring a child into the world, and you expect that that child will see you off when you passed. Unfortunately, that's not the story now. And so, of course, it was heart-wrenching to hear what had transpired in that part of our country.
Right, Beatrice, you filed that report, but let's go over to Birmingham, where the President Akufo-Addo is addressing the family of the late Captain Mahama.
Should have come in the daytime to come and see you, but I think you have an idea of my work. We're having a cabinet meeting today, and it's just finished. We tried to rush it as quickly as possible. It wasn't possible because of the work. So I have to apologize for that. And even coming so late, I want you to forgive me for that. I should have come in the day. But I'm traveling tonight, so I won't be here later in the week, and I felt that if I didn't come and see you and express my sympathy and sorrow, I wouldn't feel at ease in my body. That's why I came tonight. That has brought us here were told to me very soon after it happened. And my words to the Minister of Interior who brought the news was that he should spare no stone, absolutely, to make sure that everybody who was involved in this horrible event would face justice. As the President responsible for law and order in our country, that is the least that I could do. Fortunately for me, the police have been very active. I think as I speak, at least 40 people have now been remanded in custody, awaiting the formal processes of a trial and a prosecution. Nothing that we can do, including even punishing the guilty, will bring back your young, handsome husband. But nevertheless, we have to do something to show our horror, our revulsion at what happened to him. You can be consoled by the fact that the entire Ghanaian nation is horrified and upset about what happened to your husband. I have not come across anybody who has expressed anything but indignation and horror at what happened. And that's why Ghanaians of all sorts, all walks of life, of all political persuasions, all sides of parliament, government, opposition, former presidents, everybody has come here to express to you and to your family the revulsion of our nation at what has happened to your husband. You can take some consolation from that, some solace, that everybody in Ghana is so very upset. My own wife has been here to come and extend her condolences. Came here with the wife of the Vice President. The Vice President himself came here after talking to me. I've been traveling this week. It's been difficult for me to find the time to come and see you. But all of these people who came, the Vice President, my wife, his wife, they all came in my name because I wanted to let you know that I felt very, very sorry about what had happened to your husband, and that whatever I could do to provide you some comfort, some solace, I was going to go and do it. As I say, all of Ghana is upset by what has happened. And it meant that me, who is the leader of the country today, I have to come here and stand in the shoes of the nation to let you know how very, very, very sorry we are at what has happened to your husband. But in death, he has become a hero. The manner of his dying, the fact that he, a soldier who was armed, refused to use his weapon to attack those who wanted to kill him, but kept trying to explain himself to them, even the savage manner that they were treating him and they wouldn't understand. He has become a big national hero. So that's something else that can console you. You married a man of great dignity. It says it's in your going that tells you the nature of the man. And in his going, he has become a hero in our nation. So, some of the things that we can do to express to you our solidarity, our sympathy, our very deep sympathy. I've decided that on Friday, your husband be given a full state burial. The entire panoply of the Ghanaian state will be there on Friday, at the State House, with the sound of the trumpets and everything, to bid him farewell. The Chief of Defense Staff made a recommendation to me today that he wanted your husband to be promoted posthumously, and he gave his reasons. I have the authority as the Commander-in-Chief to do that, and I have done so. Promoted him to the rank of Major. I've signed the papers and the certificate. I believe it's even here. I'm going to present it to you. So from now on, we're not talking about Captain Mahama, we're talking about Major Adam Mahama. And at the meeting of the cabinet that I've just come from, the cabinet agreed that we should also erect a monument, an appropriate and suitable monument in his honor in Ghana, so that his memory will stay. And then again, like I say, everything that we can do can never fill the gap, but it'll be a demonstration of how the Ghanaian people feel about what has happened to him. We decided to set up a memorial trust fund in honor of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama. Major, sorry, I've forgotten myself, of Major. In the cabinet, we agreed the government will provide some seed money for the trust fund. The trust fund is going to be chaired, the board of trustees is going to be chaired by the Minister for Defense, the Honorable Dominic Nitiwo. Both sides of Parliament are going to be represented on the board. The chairman of the Select Committee on Defense, Seth Achampong, an MP from Praeso, and then the ranking member from the minority side, James Agalka, has also agreed to serve on the board of trustees. And then the Tumukuro, Richard Bambini, is also a member of the board of trustees. And the other person is Grace Bediako, who was the former government statistician. She's also agreed to serve. All of these, when I asked them today, they were honored. They thought it was the least they could do to agree to serve on as members of the Board of Trustees of the Memorial Trust Fund. Government has decided to give 500,000 cedis as seed money to the trust fund. Look after you and your children. I myself have given a modest amount of 50,000 cedis as my personal contribution to that. So these are some of the things that are within my authority, are within our powers to do. And we're doing it because we want to express to you our solidarity with you and your children and your family, and to let you know how outraged and revolted we are by the manner of his death. I'm not a vindictive man. I'm not going to say that whatever. But all those who did what they did to him, they will face justice and face their almighty God. No two ways about it. I came this evening from the cabinet, and I came with some of the senior members of my government, all of them coming with me to demonstrate to you and your family and the Kwensewura and its elders from Bole how we feel about what has happened. Yawa Safamafo, the senior minister, is here. Alan Trematin, the Minister of Trade and Industry, he's here. Minister of Finance, Ken Oforiatta, is here. Minister of Interior, Ambrose Derry, is here. Minister for Gender and Children and Social Protection, who's like an aunt to your husband, he's also here. Otiko Afisa Jaba. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the man battling the Galamsey people, he's here too. John Peter Amewu. Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, famous heart surgeon, who's a member of my government, is Minister for Environment, he's also here. The Minister for National Security, Albert Kandapa, is also here. Minister for Aviation, Cecilia Dapa, is also here. The chairman of my party, the New Patriotic Party, the acting national chairman, Freddie Blay, he's also here. As is the general secretary of the party, John Bwedu, is also here. My national security advisor, General Ochre, he's also here with us here. And of course, the Deputy Defense Minister, Major Derek Kudro, he's also here with us. The service chiefs, I cannot say they came with me, but they're also here. Navy, Air Force, Armed Force, the Army. So that's all of us who came. Of course, the Defense Minister is in and out, has been with you all along. All of these people and all the others who have come, everybody who will be coming, and the people who will meet you on Friday, all of it is just tell that one story. That we are with you, we share and feel your pain, and we are really sorry for what has happened. But God is our ultimate comforter. He understands how these things happen and why they happen. Many times it's beyond the comprehension and understanding of us mere mortals. So we give it to Him to be the source of comfort and understanding for us. That's what I'm urging you to do. It'll be hard for you. Marry a nice, handsome young man, going to have a very good life. You probably end up as a general, and all of that has been cut down, and he's been cut short in his life and left you with little children. There'll be times you find it very, very difficult to understand why it should happen to you. Nice woman. But that is the way that is the will and the way of the Almighty. You'll have to stand strongly on your faith and accept what has happened, destiny and its fate. You can do nothing about it. But at least you live and let your children live with the memory of your gallant husband, that you were married to a fine man. In Ghana, and everybody has appreciated. It should provide you some comfort in the difficult days that are ahead of you. I can end up by saying that for me, anything that I can do, my government can do, to ease things for you and to help you, don't feel shy, don't hesitate. It's easy to find me. Do so, and you'll always have a welcome place with me. The doors will always be open to you and your family. Unfortunately, work makes it that I cannot be here on Friday. I have to travel tonight to Europe. But official engagements that were established, set some time ago. But you must know that on Friday, you'll feel my spirit with you at the State House on that day. And I'll be there in spirit, supporting you. Know that my wife Rebecca will be there. Vice President Muhammadu Bawumia and his wife Samira, they'll be there. And all of these important gentlemen of the government, they will all be there to come and stand with you on that day. You're not alone. We're not going to make you feel alone. You're not going to be alone. We're going to stand with you and make sure that you survive these days that are coming. God bless you and your children and the family and the elders that have come. You'll see me again. When I come back from Europe, I'll come and look for you again. And I'm hoping that by the time you're ready to do a memorial service, all of that, I'll be around so that I can at least come and also pay my respects. I'm sorry once again that I came at night like this, but these things happen. Thank you very much for gathering all the people here to come and meet me. May God bless you. Bless us all. Thank you.
Right, so you just heard President Akufo-Addo there addressing the family of the late Captain Mahama, who, as you heard the president say, has now been promoted posthumously to the rank of Major, and that he's going to be getting a full state burial at the State House this Friday. He also made an announcement. He indicated that the government is giving the family 500,000 cedis that's going to go into a trust fund for the family. He's making a personal donation of 50,000 cedis to that trust fund. And he also indicated that the family was going to get a monument in honor of the slain soldier. You're watching JoyNews Prime. Still on this story, the chiefs and people of Dentra traditional area have this morning pacified the Dentra land to appease the gods and the soul of the young military captain killed by members of the community a week ago. The traditional leaders, as well as the Upper Dentra West District Assembly members, have since come out to apologize to the entire nation for their despicable act, asking for forgiveness. A one-week remembrance ceremony was organized at Dentra Boase this morning in memory of late Captain Mahama. They also performed some traditional rites to pacify the entire land. Right, so they subsequently went to the exact spot where Captain or now Major Adam Mahama was eventually killed to perform some rites there. We're not done with this story. There's been some prosecutions, or there's been an arraignment before court today, and we have that story coming up later on in the bulletin. Right now, though, we're taking a break, after which we'll bring you business news. Stay tuned.
Hello, good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining me on business. The government should look at issuing more bonds, while the Bank of Ghana should look at increasing dollar supply onto the market. That's the view of bank treasurers and currency dealers to help reverse recent challenges facing the cedi. The local currency has been experiencing some challenges over the past 5 weeks after recording stability in April and May. You would now need 4 Ghana cedis 34 pesos to get $1 from a commercial bank. Amagati is the president of the Association of Bank Treasurers and Currency Dealers and Financial Market Operators.
Demand has remained the same. We still have that high demand. But however, inflows have not been substantial. I mean, it's the same story all over again. We expected that with the issuance of the 3-year bond, we might see quite a bit of stability in the markets with regards to inflows. But what we realized was that this time round, most of the external investors already had monies in the system from maturities and from bond payments, etc. So the money was already in the system, and they could just put it back into the 3-year bond. And also we saw increased, if you would say, internal investor confidence because of the drop in T-bills, etc. over the last couple of months. We found that most of the people in the industry were now going into the long end. So we'll see that for this 3-year, we had like 50-50 participation from the external investors and from the local ones. Pumping too much dollars also affects our reserves anyway. But then if it's direct foreign investment that has come into the system to help our economy develop, I don't see why not. But it will be helpful if we go along the lines of the bonds, where we have issuance of bonds which will have foreign participation, and so we would have dollars coming into the system in the right way. On the other hand, the problem with that is that if should in case anything happens and investors decide to exit the market, then we'll see that that will have an effect on our exchange rate as well. So I think it's about getting the balance right between using bonds to regulate it and for the central bank intervening in the market. So I think it's a fine line between the two.
Now, bottling companies have been challenged to take up proper plastic waste management, not only as a means of cutting down costs, but to protect their brands. Cordy Aziz is the chief executive of Environment 360, and she believes brands must commit to the management of waste resulting from the consumption of their products. Environment 360 launched Evolve Phase 3 of their program in commemoration of the World Environment Day today.
Since its introduction, the Evolve Recycling Program has helped keep 28 tons of plastic waste and 31 tons of paper waste from our landfills. The project has also raised close to 60,000 Ghana cedi to provide environmental education for children in the coastal areas. Speaking to Joy Business, the chief executive of Environment 360 said plastic waste management was important for businesses.
It also just makes really good sense at this point to be environmentally conscious, because people are really starting to associate poor sanitation with certain brands. So particularly if you are a brand and your bottle is labeled, and I go to the beach and I look down and I see your brand label there, that's really not something that you probably want to be associated with. So even when you look at the protection of your brand and what's happening with that, then it really makes more sense for you to actually try to harvest this product and actually create opportunity for those people in the communities that you're serving, while also improving their quality of life.
The Evolve Community Recycling Program is a landmark recycling project founded by Environment 360 and Volta Ghana Limited. It is funded through the Australian High Commission's Direct Aid Program. Andrew Barnes is the Australian High Commissioner to Ghana.
Well, I think as one of the people made a question and a comment today, the responsibility for the waste is not just on the people who use the product and throw it away or how they dispose it. I think a lot of the responsibility for it has to be fall on the shoulders of those who actually produce the product. So those who produce the plastic bottles, they've got to take responsibility for the whole life cycle of the product. So what happens to it? Can it be recycled? If it can't be recycled, how it's managed? It's no good producers just producing plastic containers, plastic bottles that have no future and can't be recycled or can't be used again or disposed of properly.
The launch of Evolve Phase 3 was in commemoration of the World Environment Day, which is under the theme Connecting People to Nature.
And the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, says it cannot directly publish online the formula for establishing electricity bills. This is in response to the call by the Energy Minister, Boakye Jakon, for the Commission to publish the methodology on its website to ensure more transparency in the tariff setting process.
The Energy Minister made the call during the National Policy Summit in the month of May. This, according to him, should make it possible for consumers on their own to ascertain how much they are to pay per their consumption levels. But the PURC says it is not within its purview because the final billing of consumers entails other factors which it has no control over. The Executive Secretary, Samuel Sapong, explains to Joy Business the Commission can only rather task ECG and other power distribution companies to do so.
He's talking about a bill, but a bill is issued by the ECG or the distribution company. So it's the distribution companies who should put it on their website because we don't control like taxes and levies.
But you control the price, and I mean you
control tariff portion. But remember, what is on your bill is not only tariff; it's made up of taxes and levies. So they have to do the build-up to arrive at your bill.
So you mean that it should be a call to the ECG and not the PU?
We always ask them yes, because they do, you know, anytime they come up with a tariff, you know, they do something called Recona. Recona, which they publish. We don't publish Recona. Recona is published by ECG. So we expect them that what the minister called, they should put that Recona on their website.
But isn't that the mandate of the PURC? I'm talking about compelling the ECG, for instance.
Yeah, no, that one is a mandate. Yeah. We have asked them based on that for them to put it on their website.
Meanwhile, the regulator of the power sector has for some time now not made public its quarterly review of electricity tariffs. Mr. Sapong attributes this to an ongoing review of the formula for the power distributors.
Because we are doing a study, the study will end, and so we need the outcome of the study as a basis for reviewing of the tariffs.
So since when have you halted the...
We haven't halted. We've been doing, except that the net effect has been zero. We have the documentation, we file it, we gazette it.
But you don't communicate?
Well, the net effect is zero, so there's no point in usually communicating.
Because you made people aware that every quarter, no matter what happens, you communicate.
All those are being gazetted. If you can come to the office for copies, or even our website, you have to look at it from perspective of what tariff you use. And also changes in generation mix. There are so many factors. So one component, you can't use one component as a basis for judging. We look at the net effect of all those changes.
And that's all in business for tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. We are feeders more news ahead. Don't go away.
Welcome back to JoyNews Prime. We're going back to the story of Captain Maxwell Mahama, where an Accra District Court has adjourned to June 21, 2017, the case between the state and 34 suspects who have been picked up in connection with the lynching of late Captain Adam Maxwell Mahama. His Worship Kweku Ansah, in a 13-minute hearing, ordered that the 34 suspects be sent back to police custody to help with investigations. Latif Idris was there.
So it took just 13 minutes for the hearing between the state and the 34 suspects who have been picked up in connection with the gruesome murder of late Captain Adam Maxwell Mahama at the Accra Central District Court. The charges were two. First was the count of conspiracy to commit murder, and the second count was murder. Now, the suspects were not made to make any comments. The charges were read to them, and the prosecutor made a plea to the sitting judge and asked that the case be adjourned to either the 21st or the 22nd of June this year, 2017. Now, after listening to the prosecutor's narrative, the sitting judge has granted that the case involving the 34 suspects in connection with the gruesome murder of late Captain Adam Maxwell Mahama be adjourned to the 21st of June 2017. And in the background, you can see the residents around here who have also gathered here in their numbers, very angry with these 34 suspects. They are just raining insults on them.
they killed the person, innocent person. Why? Why? They don't have feelings. They don't have sympathy.
I can see you are very passionate about this. If these guys are left in your hands, what exactly will you do to them?
I'll kill them. Why? I'll use gun and kill them.
Then you are committing the same crime they commit.
I know. Then I'm going to inside. I know because of them. If it is me and I'm the government, I'll deal with them. I won't leave them because the person when they kill is innocent person. Innocent person. They don't have feelings. They don't have anything because of their child. They leave the child small because they don't have feelings.
Do you know the late captain?
Oh God, no.
You didn't know him?
No.
But it's a woman being.
So, a woman being. Look at the way I'm crying because of the innocent person. Look at the way I'm crying. Yes. Look at the way I'm crying. How do you feel if it is you? How do you feel? How do you feel about this? Oh God.
Because they are not nice.
God have mercy. God have mercy. God have mercy.
Look at them.
We are human beings. We are human beings. You have to be stupid. You have to do something. But it's not this.
You never take shower.
Look at
these are close residents at the district courts who have gathered here in their numbers. They are incensed about these 34 suspects, and you just heard from one of them who says that if these 34 suspects are left under her care, she will do to them exactly what they did to the late captain. And that is the sense you get here on the ground if you interact with all the residents who have gathered here, both young and old.
Well, workers of the Shanxi mining company Agmane in the Talensi district of the Upper East region are warning an indefinite suspension imposed on the operations could soon result in a tragedy in the town. Government last month ordered the mine support service firm to halt its operations to allow for investigations into a recent blast by the company that resulted in the deaths of some local miners working in a nearby pit. The workers say that local miners have been sneaking into their shaft to carry out illegal blast and steal ore at the peril of their lives. Upper East correspondent Albert Sore has more.
In April this year, 7 men said to be legal miners died in a mine accident believed to have occurred as a result of a wrong underground blast. The miners were working in a pit near a concession where the Shanxi Mining Company, a Chinese mine support firm, works for 2 licensed small-scale miners. In separate interviews with Joy News, local miners blamed the Shanxi Mining Company for the accident, while the company denied the accusations. This was not the first time such deaths had occurred, and the company accused. Lands and Natural Resources Minister John Peter Amewu subsequently wrote to the Shanxi Mining Company, directing it to suspend operations indefinitely to allow investigations into the matter. Workers of the Shanxi Mining Company now say the few of them who have been charged to stay and watch over the concession have been overwhelmed by some of the local miners who have taken advantage of government's delay in carrying out the investigations to mine on their concession. They spoke at a press conference.
Our mine has been terribly occupied by illegal miners. The few staffs kept to maintain and care for the mine have been overwhelmed by hundreds of illegal miners who evade the underground workings, blast support pillars, break equipment and electrical fittings, steal ore, and dangerously prevent men from pumping water. This action of theirs will cause the following if not checked immediately. Mine is weakened following the blasting of the support pillars. This can cause caving in any moment. The use of minors by the illegal miners kingpin poses danger to their operation. They are inexperienced and will one day blast themselves up.
The workers also lament government's delay has brought them untold hardships.
We are not working. So where are we going to get the money to feed our wife or children and then our family? So we are pleading the minister to at least give us or help us to come back to work. So this is what I have.
We are appealing to the minister that let us come back and then start because it's not just at all for us. As we are sitting in the house, we have wives, children, and parents taking care of them. And all these things, if we are not working, we can't get.
Right, so let's recap our big story this evening, which has to do with President Akufo-Addo visiting the family of the slain soldier at Burma camp, where he announced a package for the family, including the posthumous award or promotion of the captain, the late captain, to a major. He also announced that there will be a full state burial this Friday. Let's listen to the president.
Some of the things that we can do to express to you our solidarity, our sympathy, our very deep sympathy. I've decided that on Friday, your husband be given a full state burial. The entire panoply of the Ghanaian state will be there on Friday, at the State House, with the sound of the trumpets and everything, to bid him farewell. The Chief of Defense Staff made a recommendation to me today that he wanted your husband to be promoted posthumously, and he gave his reasons. I have the authority as the Commander-in-Chief to do that, and I have done so. Promoted him to the rank of Major. I've signed the papers and the certificate. I believe it's even here. I'm going to present it to you. So from now on, we're not talking about Captain Mahama, we're talking about Major Adam Mahama. And at the meeting of the cabinet that I've just come from, the cabinet agreed that we should also erect a monument, an appropriate and suitable monument in his honor in Ghana, so that his memory will stay. And then again, like I say, everything that we can do can never fill the gap, but it'll be a demonstration of how the Ghanaian people feel about what has happened to him. We decided to set up a memorial trust fund in honor of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama. Major, sorry, I've forgotten myself, of Major. In the cabinet, we agreed the government will provide some seed money for the trust fund. The trust fund is going to be chaired, the board of trustees is going to be chaired by the Minister for Defense, the Honorable Dominic Nitiwo. Both sides of Parliament are going to be represented on the board. The chairman of the Select Committee on Defense, Seth Achampong, MP from Praeso, and then the ranking member from the minority side, James Agalka, has also agreed to serve on the board of trustees. And then the Tumukuro, Richard Bambini, is also a member of the board of trustees.
Well, the president also announced that government was going to commit 500,000 cedis as seed fund for the Memorial Trust Fund. In other news, Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kwesi Yanka, has encouraged supervisors at BEC examination centers to ensure the exams are not marred by lateness. He said this on a tour on Monday to inspect some examination centers in the Accra metropolis.
This is the very first BEC that ushers the student directly into a free SHS. So we are expecting the highest of standards between now and Friday for all the 10 or so papers that they are going to write. We are happy generally. There have been just a few hitches here and there, but since they don't appear to be a pattern, we have made provision for the correction and the rectification of the issues encountered. For example, lateness here and there. We have pointed it out to them that there's absolutely no excuse for lateness. We knew when the classes or exams were to start, things like traffic and so on and so forth being an impediment and stopping you from being punctual will not be accepted.
In a short interaction with some candidates at Angmule Junior High School Center, the minister encouraged them to abstain from exam malpractices and wished them well in the exams.
Be as punctual as possible. Read the examination questions very closely and seriously before you start answering. We are not expecting anything but the best from the very first batch of BEC candidates going to enter into free SHS. So we wish you all the best of luck, and we also wish you congratulations in advance because we know you are going to do very well.
Some of the candidates at the end of the first paper talked about the experience.
We are not nervous and panicked too. We are not.
And the exams was very cool. We thought it was difficult, but it was cool.
So it means you are very confident that you did well?
Yes.
What are you writing next then?
arraigned.
And how are you? What are your expectations for the paper? You are ready to write it?
Yes, we are ready to write it.
It was interesting and I'll say it was easy.
It was easy?
Yes.
Okay.
We are writing arraigned next, and I'm going down there to go and revise on my notes and come and write, do my best and get the best of the best.
I did very well and I'm happy.
Also, final year students of Daintra Boase defied all odds to participate in this year's Basic Education Certificate Examination. Education authorities last week expressed fear the pupils might not show up to take part in the exams because the pupils, as well as their parents, had fled the Daintra Boase township. This comes after military officers stormed the community in the soup in reaction to the aftermath of the murder of now Major Maxwell Adam Mahama, who was lynched by a mob in that community. Oiming Teria has been speaking to the District Director of Education, Rose Tinkrang, and a teacher, Daniel Boabing, who helped in the mobilization of the pupils.
I was sad about the whole incident. In fact, I was thinking how the candidates will come to write the examination. Thanks to the DC, it's now former, who went on the radio to make announcements. So I think they heard about it, and the chief also did his best to get them. So yesterday, they gathered at a place and they were moved in here. As I speak, all the 72 candidates are available to write the examination, except one, but he has already absented himself for 3 good months, so already he's dismissed. All the candidates are around and they are in good mood to write the examination.
Yes, that is what they wanted us to focus. Are they, in the right frame of mind for the exams? Because earlier you said they were traumatized with their teachers after the military stormed that community.
Yeah, but right now, the way I see them, they've calmed down. And when they came, the teachers who received them, they talked to them. And I've also spoken with them. And looking at their faces and how they were sitting, I could see that they are ready to write the examination.
Okay. But beyond the Obuasi community, how many candidates are taking part in today's exams and from how many schools?
We have 1,213 candidates. The schools, 48 schools are taking part in the examination. 41 public and 7 private schools.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's talk about this issue. BEC exams are, very common with issue of pregnant mothers or pregnant candidates taking part in the exam. Sometimes they even absent themselves. In the entire district, what can you say about this situation?
Right now, I cannot tell, but it's been improved since last year. Last year, the number is reduced, but right now, I'm not going around the centers. For the center that I am, the DSO senior high, I have not seen anyone pregnant here.
Also, the Member of Parliament for Techiman North in the Bahafo region has promised a special reward to the 2 most brilliant students in the district at the basic education level. Martin Uti Jakon says the move is to encourage the students to do their best in the BEC, which is the first major step in their lives. Some 1,197 students are sitting for the basic education certificate examination in the district.
School education to
be writing the BEC for the first time. That is the story of pupils of the Dodoma Basic School, as the school is presenting its first batch of final year students in the exam this year. With no teachers and basic teaching and learning materials, how would children like those in Dodoma match up with their mates elsewhere? Here's a report by Justice Beidou.
Class 10, greet.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
We are fine, thank you, sir.
Sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Last pep talk before the D-Day. These are final year students of the Dodoma Basic School in the Wa West District preparing for their basic education certificate exams. They are the first batch of students going to write the exam since their school began. For many of them, this is the biggest day in their lives.
I have problem in social studies.
Problem in social studies?
Yes, sir.
Is it the whole subject or some topics?
Yes.
As now we have done all our best. We have prepared them fully. We wrote mocks about twice. And just recently we have ended with the district mocks that they have also organized it for the whole district. So we have just finished that one. So we are confident that to know that at this moment, the students, they are also going to participate with those who are also staying in city.
Government has recently put up new structures for the school, and its pupils are on the National School Feeding Program, which provides 1 hot meal a day for poor children who couldn't afford to buy food before so they can stay in school. But the school is still heavily challenged. Teachers refuse postings to the community. Dodoma itself has no road network, cutting it off from other villages around it. There's no health facility, mobile telephony network, and no electricity.
Change of lesson, please!
As night falls, so do dreams of many of the young people going to write the BECE. With no source of power to study, their fate in the exam hangs in the balance. Here, in one of the thatch-roofed mud houses, I've come to meet 3 of them, fending off flies who are feasting on their books because of the torchlight they are using to learn. The household itself is filled with smoke as cooking activities run late into the night.
This is just one of the many manifestations of inequalities. Even in Ghana's educational system, children, by their geographical location, are pitched into groups with the haves on the one hand and the have-nots on the other.
I want to be a doctor to save people's life whenever they are sick.
The Upper West region, where Dodoma is located, is Ghana's poorest. More than 6 out of every 10 people who have sat for the BEC in the last 10 years in this region have failed to make the minimum pass mark, according to figures at the Regional Education Service. Most of them with dreams of ever moving on the academic ladder crushed, are relegated to join the ever-growing population of Ghana's unemployed youth. As pupils of Dodoma get ready to join thousands of their classmates nationwide for this year's BECE, they hope to change that narrative. Justice Beidou, Joy News, Dodoma.
If you get all the subject AA, all your school fees, I will pay everything for you.
A senior lawyer member of the General Legal Council, Sam Okujeto, says practitioners criticizing the sanctions-handed human rights lawyer Francis Xavier Sosu do not have enough appreciation of the codes governing the legal profession. Lawyer Francis Xavier Sosu has been barred by the General Legal Council from practicing for the next 3 years following what it describes as a breach of its code of ethics. Sam Okujeto, who is also a member of the Council of State, justified the sanctions, explaining they are well-founded. There's more in this report.
Lawyer Francis Xavier Sosu is a famed human rights lawyer who is credited with helping many wrongfully jailed Ghanaians gain their freedom, especially through the government's Justice for All program. The General Legal Council on June 1, 2017 barred human rights lawyer Francis Xavier Sosu from practicing as a lawyer for 3 years after he was convicted on 4 counts to which he pleaded guilty. The charges were excessive legal fees and an overestimation of the service rendered a client, Francis Ejari, who he offered a pro bono legal services. Many Ghanaians, including lawyers, have described the decision as too harsh. Law lecturer at GIMPA, Justice Shrimsai, says the regulation is archaic and counterproductive.
It is not a prevailing rule in the most progressive jurisdiction, particularly from where we borrowed, these practices from. When it comes to advertisement, I think it violates some provisions of our constitution. It is not in line with progressive practice elsewhere in other jurisdictions. And when it comes to overcharging, I think there could be a better, regulation to do that, so that there will be an objective, standard for knowing what constitutes overcharge and what constitutes undercharge, and then we could be able to, and all of us will be able.
But senior lawyer and member of the General Legal Council, Sam Okujeto, says lawyer Sosu's action contravened the law and the decision is not mean.
So it is not a mean thing. And many of you also do not understand. And many lawyers do not understand. When we tell them that they should read what is happening in other jurisdictions. The professionals are put in a unique position whereby you can manipulate innocent people. And that if we are not harsh and tough in disciplining them, then what we are doing is a floodgate. Everybody can do what you like. First of all, but he agreed to pay this money to me. We agreed, this is a contract we signed. We said the contract you signed is irrelevant. The contract is, was I in accord with the code of ethics? Was in accord with the scale of fees that the bar has laid down? This is the whole issue. So unfortunately, I cannot discuss that matter with you.
It means that you have a lot of disciplinary issues that you're dealing with.
Lots of them. Loads of them.
Amazing.
And now you must go to the website, because now we want them, as soon as you come, you are on the website.
Oh.
So you cannot do it in secret.
Meanwhile, suspended human rights lawyer Francis Xavier Sosu says he's preparing to appeal the decision of the council.
All right, my name is Sujalai. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good night.
This is JoyNews Prime.